Okay, so I tried to do one of the Bard's Craft builds for a scorpion. You can see that the shape is kind of there. That would have been the tail, that would have been the body. And I screwed it up. So I decided, you know what, I'll make an elemental. Well, it's not standing on two legs, it's not fat, and it didn't look anything like it as I was going along. So I figured, well, I gotta do something with this. I was stubborn, and I kept going, and I finally wound up with something I liked. So the lid is actually, the base is actually a lid off of a little throwaway cup like you get at the restaurants with hot sauce or something in them. And I had to weight that down with a bunch of glue and other stuff in there. I don't care, you're not going to see the bottom. And then I super glued some stuffing out of my cousin's dog toy. He killed it while he was over here. Ripped out the guts. And that's where I get that nice, come on, focus. That's where I get that glassy, bubbly, icy look. And then I got some rolled paper and stuff around there glued on the side. It ain't focusing. Anyway, this whole thing was just an exercise in futility, I guess you could say. But then I got to practice in with some other techniques. I tried to use rubber bands and stuff to give it that swirly look for an air elemental or a water elemental later, like it was a tornado coming out of there. And that looked like crud. So I tried to cover it with a few things. I tried a dryer street because I just happened to have one. That didn't work out well. It didn't flatten out as much and go in between the stuff as I thought I'd like it to. So I used a paper towel, and that gave it some weird texture on the back, which I didn't like. So I started using a napkin instead. Had fast food that day. I put this down several times. I started in November. And so I started building it up. There's actually a needle in there holding the tail end to the body part right in the center. And I used toothpicks for the arms, well, mostly. One of them ended up shorter than the other. I don't know what happened. And then so I made that one longer because it was the short one. And the toothpick ends somewhere up in here. So I continued wrapping bits of rolled napkin around it in the arm here. And I made the head look like a flower because I thought for a minute I was, if it'll focus, I thought I would make it like one of those rambling mounds, whatever it's called. I'm new to this. I haven't learned all the animal and monster names yet. But I was really surprised with a few things. Super glue makes these nice and sharp. Ooh, the Andes mint wrappers in the hand, which actually gave it a nice look. I didn't really need to do it over here. I already had that kind of shape. It's all paper in there for the hand. I only got 4 fingers, or 3 fingers and a thumb if you want to be critical like that. The horns are also paper and napkin. And like I said, the super glue makes it really nice and sharp. And the face didn't come out how I wanted it. I tried to build up a nose. And I guess the glue drying, just PVC glue. Some of it mixed with paint, some of it just straight with water. I managed to get the napkin down in between some of the down in between some of the rubber bands, so I get that kind of a swirly effect. But I'm not exactly sure what to call this thing, or what kind of backstory to give it. I'll link the, we could say this thing will stretch. That'll save me from explaining why this thing is not so dimensional, I guess. But it took a lot of PVC glue and PVC glue mixed with, not PVC. What do they call the Elmer's glue again? What type of glue is that? I'm not sure, but it took me a lot to get that all filled in the way I liked. So basically what I'm going to say is that this thing is some sort of demon or monster or whatever you want to call it, coming out of ice or snow or water, whatever you want to call it, forming from it. I don't know. It was supposed to stand up a little straighter, but I couldn't get it to do it. So before I started stacking all the stuff on there, I took a stick out of a Q-tip, shoved in there, and then I just had to wrap. I just had to focus. I just had to wrap some of the paper from around here around the tail and work my way up. Anyway, I still have the wash. I put another one of these lids on the top, and it's still wet, and I can use it again for something else. But like I said, I'm really surprised with the shape you can get out of the wrappers like the ones found on the Andes mints, and really happy with how sharp you can make that paper with the super glue. This is just little pieces of regular paper I ripped off and got those nice icy looking talons. Some of them don't even have any of the PVC, any of the Elmer's glue and paint wash on there. And the horns turned out real nice. So if anybody wants to figure out what to call this thing, go ahead and leave a comment. I'm going to be trying to redo the Scorpion and trying to redo the Elemental, and I'm going to try the Rambling or Shambling, Ambling, whatever it's called, the mound thing made out of all the dead plants and stuff later on. But in the end, I was disappointed with this, but the more I look at it, I'm actually kind of happy with it. I'd like to thank everybody I've talked to about making your own miniatures for giving me ideas and having thoughts about that. Yay, now it focuses. Anyway, this is the end of the video. Bye.